Hey, what do you know? It worked. Hey, what do you know? I just have to figure out what's wrong with the video. Hey, what do you know? I just have to figure out what's wrong with the video. Hey, what do you know? I just have to figure out. And now I will call him. Hope you enjoy the show, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Ring, ring. Hey.
Bro.
Hey, man.
Sup?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. Right on. This works a lot better because you won't have any problems with, like, your internet and shit.
Right.
Right. So, I made a memorable introduction to stream. I don't believe we have anybody watching, but I'm sure eventually someone will watch it since they save the videos, I believe.
Right on.
But I figured, what the hell? I wanted to talk to you about our frustrations as of late. You know how music just became a bunch of cannibalistic, self-centered, ego-driven, cock-whoring bastards, and that the fans have just become such a malignant tumor.
Right.
So, how many CDs did you make for that promotional thing you tried out? That sampler?
Gee, I had one batch of 10 and one of 15.
So 25.
Yeah, sounds about right. I mean, really it's 23 because two of them were bad. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
how
but
many
yeah, that was a load of shit, bro.
how many of those do you think were just tossed in the trash or in the middle of a parking lot?
Believe it or not, there were, as far as that I saw, there were two in the trash and one that was dumped in the parking lot and ran over.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So, what was that be like? I misheard the number. So did you say about 5 of them?
Um, yeah, I would estimate that about 5 of them were just discarded.
What do you think happened to the rest? Do you think anyone actually listened to them, or do you think they just threw them in a pile of shit when they got home?
Well, I'm pretty confident that the stoner dude at the pot shop at least gave it a listen, but most of them are probably in people's drawers right now, never to be used again, honestly.
Why do you think that is?
Honestly, I think most of the people just took it because it was free and they weren't really interested in it.
So,
Honestly.
so would you say that the casual fan of per se hip hop music is a rather jaded fan
Probably, yeah. I mean, my thinking is that they saw the album and they were like, "Oh, it's just another street artist peddling his shit."
Yep. We had nothing that stood out or any kind of
Yeah,
buzz in a bigger area that would make people pay homage or notice to the craft. Which
yeah,
goes to the conversation of politics. I love music. I love creating music. I love expressing music. I love sharing other people's music. But
right,
the problem I have is, and I've said this before in some songs and some interviews, I have to kind of wonder, if we would have known how politically deep these pools would get, if we would have even attempted it when we first thought about it as, young children and teenagers. Because I knew there was politics involved, but I never
right,
realized the depth of the politics. Because when we first started both getting involved with music, it was around the time where a word of mouth promotion was still valued at something.
right,
You could tell somebody, hey, I'm throwing this party and there's going to be music and there's going to be girls and there's going to be booze, and dude, people would just flock.
right,
But now you could try that same strategy, rent out a building, host a party, and you might get a quarter of the people that were attempting to jam into someone's basement.
right. That's believable.
You know, what do you equivalent that to? The death of you know by word of mouth promotion.
Well, I can't make a metaphor for it, if that's what you're asking.
No, no, I'm just saying. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, that's because the landscape of marketing in general has shifted so much to the internet,
Right?
and plus it's oversaturated. Like, there's if you go down to Hollywood, Sunset Boulevard on like a Friday night, you know, you're guaranteed to run into at least a dozen other motherfuckers that are trying to sell their hip hop album on the street.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. Everybody has the right to grind, but it's just like I think because of the internet, within the last 5, 6 years, especially, I think it made people feel like, well, anybody can do this.
Right,
Anybody can, you know what I mean? So you
right,
get these fair weather people that aren't very good and happen to know a guy that has a studio, or they happen to be a drug dealer that dumps $600 into an album and it sounds good, but at the end of the day, they get pissed because they don't make any money off it, so they walk away. And what they're doing is wasting everyone else's time and clientele because they're saturating that clientele.
right. And I mean, if you get too many motherfuckers putting out shitty products, then people are gonna get really jaded about it and
Yeah.
have the mentality of, oh, it's another one of those street hip hop artists. I'm not gonna waste my time with that
Well, and I think
spark
that
basement shit.
I think that's why Brett made the point of, you know, do you have your shit saran wrapped? Does it look like a professional album? Does it look like it came out of a record studio? Um,
Right, right. Uh,
because
Appearance is
it's
definitely a big part of it.
yeah, it's a big part of like this whole perception deal. And
Right.
to me, if you're talking perception, I mean, here's the problem I have, right?
Right.
We talked about everything being overly saturated. Well, I don't like when I first started getting involved in like recording my own stuff. I think there was like that window of opportunity. Now, if I would have done it several years before then, there would have been a huge window of opportunity. Because like between '04 and '08, you had this huge window of by mouth promotion that
Right,
you
but you
know.
were like 12 to 14 by then, man. Back then.
Well, yeah, yeah. That's why I said like even at '08 when I was like you know 16 in 2008,
Mm.
if I would have put something out there, would have been a higher probability of it working
Yeah, that's true.
and
Very
succeeding.
good with that.
But I think even in 2010 when I first started, and 2011 when I first started putting together some decent shit, there was still a market for like by mouth promotion. Like if you knew the right
2011, 2011 for the Midwest, that's pushing it a little bit, in my opinion.
early 2011, like March,
Mm.
there was still a lot of, hey, check this guy's stuff out, and people cross promoting other local people because they knew him, and it was really by a combination of word of mouth and Facebook.
But now, did you see a lot of that back in 2011?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
around the Indianapolis area, I didn't.
yeah, I did. Um, Especially out of the people I was working with. I mean, a lot of it was like self-serving, obviously. But if you could get in with the right people and you know inflate their ego enough, you probably could have gotten some people to pay attention. I mean, Austin managed to get like 140 people to like his Facebook because he just was spending like 8 9 hours a day Facebook promoting, and then he would go to any party, any social event, and give people CDs or freestyle against somebody and battle somebody. Like there was still that room to use old school tactics.
Right.
But by the end of 2011, the beginning of 2012, that was dead. The by word of mouth promotion style and the well, I'll earn respect because I'll battle against this guy, and you know it'll be most of the time that shit happened at like parties. It wasn't really like the big cultural thing that it was in '96 or anything, but people would still utilize those tactics for promotion. But by the time 2011 hit, it was like, man, if you don't have your shit on every major media, if you're not designating 6 to 8 hours a day on social media, if you're not making as many public appearances and networking, um, utili- utilizing social media, then you were screwed. If you wanted to just sit at home and make good music and put it out and put together good products and try to sell it on the street, even if you went to the right place, if you didn't know the right people to make you look good, you were screwed. Nobody would even pay any mind to you. Because by the end of 2011, every motherfucker thought they could, you know, be a musician.
Right.
Like,
Right.
literally every single motherfucker, honestly, believed that they could be, Come on, cat, stop. I gave you your food, dude, what the fuck? Cat's just like leaping up on me and shit. But What else would you appoint problematic issues in music to? Because I know me and you have had ups and downs where we've been like, do we keep trying to reinvent ourselves and keep trying to find ways to captivate people, or do we just kind of do our own thing and give out a billion free CDs and call it a day and say, hey, we did more than we ever thought we would, and maybe pull together enough traction for like one live show and call it a day. Me and you have debated that at least 200 times.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a bitch, man. It really is a complete bitch trying to deal with the politics. So, what are some things you have to say about not just the fans, because I think we've covered how the fan bases have kind of changed to where it's centered around social media. Good example of that was when you were like, hey man, check out this guy's YouTube and da 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 da. And he was like,
Right.
is he on SoundCloud? And like, for people that don't understand, back in the day, just like a couple years ago, I'm not even talking like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, like 2 years ago, SoundCloud was considered an absolute joke. If you were on SoundCloud, it was like, okay, anybody can get on SoundCloud. What makes you special because you're on SoundCloud? And now, for some reason, there's this cultural shift where you have to be on SoundCloud if you're not on iTunes.
Right.
If you're not on like iTunes or Amazon Music, then people better be able to find your ass on SoundCloud. Because if they can't, then you're apparently not legit. Like, you could have 30 albums, 20 plus years of experience, worked with some of the greatest old school rap people out there, hip hop artists out there. You could have co-promoted with local rock bands and done all this shit. But all of a sudden, to the youth, if you're not on SoundCloud, you don't exist. I just...
Yeah, that's about on.
Say what? You're cutting out a little bit, bud.
I said, yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say, is if you're not on SoundCloud, you might as well not exist.
Which, am I the only one that finds that a little bizarre?
That is very strange, because people didn't take SoundCloud seriously at all just 2.5 years ago.
Shit, dude, even a year ago.
Maybe a year and a half, I'll give you that. It is 2016 now, man.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you look a year ago, was SoundCloud getting some traction? Sure, but was it like, to be legit, you gotta be on this? Hell no.
It's not done
Say what?
nearly now.
You cut in and out. Say that again?
It's not compared.
I'm gonna call this dude right
Kill
back. That's weird.
Hello.
Sorry, I had to call you back because you were cutting in and out like crazy.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, like you were sounding like the old school Verizon commercials. I was like, what? So what were you saying? You were saying about SoundCloud, how it wasn't as big of a deal. a year ago as it is today. Why do you think
Right.
that? Why do you think that is? Do you think that's just one of those weird social changes, like how we went from MySpace to Facebook to Twitter to Instagram, or do you think?
Yeah. I think it's just a cultural shift like that. I mean, what did it is SoundCloud did get some big name artists on it. I think Wayne was real big on SoundCloud in like towards the end of 2014, and I think that really kick-started SoundCloud into the public's eye.
Yeah, but even when I go on there, I still just feel like, wow, this is so boring and basic. And like, to me, yeah, I have a SoundCloud, but I have a SoundCloud because I was asked to have one. You know what I mean? To
Right.
me, when
Well, I mean, people like it because it's simple and it's convenient, and there's not really anything that fills the void. You know, shit like reverb is a little too complicated for some people.
yeah, and Reverb kind of had its spike and then died.
Right.
The biggest mistake Facebook ever made, from an honest standpoint,
Yeah.
and this is not even because all my stuff got erased. Like, yeah, you can look at it today and you know that it was a stupid move. Was when they sold their rights to their music player to Reverb in order to host Reverb as their music player on Facebook.
Right.
That was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. There's no way they made a significant profit margin out of that. I'm sure they sit back and they're like, well, fuck, we're stuck in a contract for X amount of time and we're making this much, and well, I guess
Yeah.
that's okay.
If I recall correctly, they actually lost money on that.
They lost a lot of money on that because Reverb was supposed to be like the new platform for artists to be able to rise and keep and be able to judge themselves in comparison to other artists, and it was supposed to be easier to collaborate and easier to just in general use from an artist perspective, and it was supposed to be very good for a fan's perspective as well. And it
Yeah,
was.
it didn't quite turn out that way back in 2015. It really started to go to shit.
Oh, it went to shit long before that, but that's kind of when the nail in the coffin hit. I'd say about around
Right.
2013, it started to have a lot of people going, but wait a minute, I don't want to do
Ah,
that.
man, time flies, man. Has it really been that long?
Yep. Um,
Damn.
well, I mean, think about it. They kept advertising, hey, we'll give you a. Ugh, damn it, cat, you shit. Ugh.
Lovely.
Ugh, right? Ugh. Ugh. Sorry. They were advertising, like, oh, we can promote you, which a lot of people were very excited about. The problem is every promotion either came with an upgrade package or you had to pay X amount of money, and eventually people just got annoyed with it. Like, oh,
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
here's a free promotion. Try it out for a month. We'll promote you for a month in 5 different states of your choice, and then you go to finalize everything, and they're like, oh, before you continue, please pay to upgrade to premium usage for, another $65 a month. And it's like, but the promotion you had 2 months ago, all I had to do was pay $50 and I could choose 12 states. They killed their
Yeah.
own. They killed their own business
Yep. They got
because
too greedy and shot themselves in the foot.
because when they were first giving people free promotion, when you became a new user, what a lot of people didn't realize that I was cognitive to realize was all they were doing was giving you a free ad on Facebook and then charging you for it later on. I noticed that and I was like, really? Like
Right.
I'd rather just pay Facebook directly.
Yeah, that works out a lot better.
So, on to politics. How are the politics
Right.
and how are the politics and because we've covered the differences, social media, fans, promotion differences. How is the business different in your mind, and is it better or is it worse for where to you?
Well, I mean, judging by my experiences back in Indianapolis, it's definitely worse. It's it's harder to get quality people to work with you, whether you're doing the music or doing like promotion and advertising.
Or even production.
Oh, that's true as well.
Production, promotion, it is a lot more of a bitch. And I think you can speak very heavily on some of that because you were a very successful electronic artist, if you will, DJ, before we officially started working together. I mean, we always had plans to try to, we just
Eh,
never.
semi semi successful. I had Speedway on lock for a while, but that's about it.
Hey, but think about it, man. You worked with some pretty impressive talent. Not impressive like work wise, but they have a very carried name. Like Ghost, um, the DJ known as Ghost, just to clarify. Intertine, um, Anger Fist, and I'm sure there was a couple others. Um, and I mean, you were making some pretty decent money for just some local guy who happened to like electronic
Yeah,
music.
I mean that's really the only reason that those people were willing to showcase their talent because I was giving them 20% each.
Right, but you were also making a lot of money for someone who was considered a nobody.
A pretty good amount. I made enough to buy smokes and weed every day.
You know, and when you look at it, it's because you capitalized on a time period where you tell somebody, hey, I'm throwing this party at my house, and instead of 30 people coming, 80 people show up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's that's where you had to start doing indoor and outdoor DJ play at the same time, plus running it through the whole house because there were so many people you couldn't contain it to the basement.
Oh yeah.
So you had huge exposure for really no apparent reason. It. I mean, you'd be the first one to tell me I have no idea why people kept coming to these parties because they were
Well,
not. They
I
were
mean,
not.
part of it was, I had the advantage of working within that time frame, but a good part of it too is the place. The thing about Speedway is if a couple of people really start drumming up buzz for something, then everyone gets hyped for it, like a bunch of sheep.
Right, and then you put in the fact that they knew there was drugs, they knew there was booze, they knew there was girls, and it's like even if only one of three is there, they're gonna go.
Right.
And it's not like you promoted it. It's not like you were like, yeah, come get high, but like people knew. Okay, if there's booze, there's gonna be girls. If there's girls, there's gonna be weed. And like I don't know, it just snowballed. But when you look at the clientele that you had at that time, it was not pertaining to what you would consider an electronic crowd, if you will. I don't think you actually reached those crowds until you started doing your own shows out of venues. Um, what do you think the difference is in your mind um, when talking about venues from then to more recent years? Do you think people are more accepting to open up venues to different people? Are they less accepting? Is there more requirements and hoops you have to jump through? Because I mean,
Yeah,
that's
they are definitely less accepting. I actually called several venues a few years back when we were trying to plan something, and not a single one of them even gave me the time of day.
I mean, these are people that you had gone and worked for
Right.
just like 3 years prior, 4 years prior to that.
Yeah, I talked to the event coordinator at a smallish bar over on the west side, and at first he seemed pretty enthusiastic about accepting me, but then I told him, hey, the script's been flipped up a little bit. I've got a local hip hop artist here. As soon as he heard the phrase local hip hop artist, his attitude totally changed.
Yeah, it's almost like
And it's just like,
it's almost like the kiss of death, you know. Like hip hop is so universal and so accepted and so cultural, but it's still like black marked, which I can't fucking understand whatsoever.
right.
Like how can something be so culturally hip and so culturally in and so much of like the thing, but at the same time so unpresentable to so many different people? I don't
Yeah.
get it. Because if you would have looked at him and said, "Oh yeah, I got this guy. You know, he's coming in from California and he's worked with," you know, and you just sat there and named out a bunch of BS just to get your foot in the door and pull one over on the guy, he would have booked it. He would have booked it and helped promote it. But since you
Right.
said, "Oh, he's local. He's not really that big. He just is looking for somewhere to," the guy was like, "No, I'm not interested." But I guarantee you, if you would have been more manipulative and more politically minded, and understood the politics, and used that to your advantage, we could have had a sold out show. The difference was we were of good heart and mind at that time. I don't know, kind of thing. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. We good people, kind of thing. Um, Yeah, back then we didn't think about politics. We didn't think like, oh well, this promoter doesn't want to book us. Well, how can we get one over on this guy and you know make him think he needs us? We were just like, well, that's understandable. They don't want to book us, and we've just got to work harder. But what we were oblivious to was a seismically huge change culturally in society, where literally if you didn't present yourself as a somebody all the time, 24/7, looked the part, acted the part, was the part, then
I,
then you were
no re-
nobody. Hmm? What?
no,
God damn
at
it.
all.
1 second. I gotta reconnect this call. I don't know why he keeps cutting out every few minutes.
Yo,
I have no idea what you said, but it was just cutting out like crazy, so I reconnected the call. Um,
yeah,
so, hmm?
concept.
Concept. Dude, is your phone like overheating or something?
Cellular towers or something.
Mm, gotta love that shit. Anyway, back to where we were. um, I was saying, that there's always been a realism to hip hop, like you have to be what you say you are. But I have a feeling like now people, what the hell? What the fuck?
Hello.
I have no clue what happened there. Um,
Sure, man.
no, I really don't. Like just out of nowhere.
I knew that when I was growing up in a little small town.
The fuck. Anyway,
Uh,
can you hear me?
yeah, I can. Man.
All right. I am. I'm going to attempt to call you through Google Hangouts because it sounds like you're having cell tower issues.
Right.
All right. Hey. What's up? Yeah, you were just. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Cool. Yeah, for some reason it was just being really retarded and like I don't know. It just didn't want to when I was talking to you your phone kept going like blah blah blah. So
That's really weird.
yeah, so what were you saying though about cuz I had just got done saying that it just feels like a god damn it. Fuck. What the hell? Wow. All of a sudden just
Your
random.
call has been forwarded to an automatic voice.
So it appears that we lost DJ Inquiz. So until I can contact him again, this has been Kaz with the wonderful DJ Inquiz, and this has been Revolution Radio X.